and welcome to Crafting from the Broom Closet. My name is Hen, and today we are going to be making faux fabric. Well, this one's more like a faux leather. So how do we make it? We're going to be using a technique called momigami. It's a Japanese paper making technique, which means paper kneading. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So this was one I did about a year ago when I first came across the technique. I really like how it came out. This is, it started off as a wallpaper, roll of wallpaper, and it came out like this. And I like it. I think it's got a very much a faux leather look. I've had a little bit of an experiment over here, so I can try and take away some of the whiteness with a little bit of coffee to try and take some of the whiteness away. I think it might need a little bit more, but I do really like how this came out. And this is what gave me the inspiration for today's video, which is part of the ABC April 2025 collaboration. This is the letter F for faux fabric. So that is what we're doing today. So can any paper become faux fabric? Oh, I haven't shown you how this moves, have I? So if you look, it moves, and it's got a more of a canvasy fabric feel to it, but it has, or like an upholstery fabric, but it has got that move that you get with fabric that you don't get with paper. So, can any fabric be used? Well, according to the website I looked at, Momigami website, yes. However, from my experimenting, I would say no. And it might be just my technique is not correct, and therefore it's not worked. But for example, I tried it with this flyer that came through the door, and it's not good. It's just too, it goes nice and soft, but it's just too fragile. Another thing I tried it with was the brown paper packaging that I used the other day. I don't know if you remember me using it the other day. I did the brown paper packaging, both types, both the one that's the same colour on both sides and the one that's two different shades. And what I found was it just was too fragile. Move that out of the way, and it ended up with holes in it. So that's the one that's the same colour on both sides, and this is the one that with the two different colours. And what I found, it started getting these little holes all the way around it, and then it makes it weak and it rips really easily. It has a lovely texture, don't get me wrong. Maybe if I was a bit less rough with it, it might have been fine. But these were happening as I was folding it, they're not as I was pulling it, the little tears. I don't know if it's the way the paper's made up. It doesn't. It just, I don't know. The weave of the paper, I guess. So, because what you are actually doing when you're kneading the paper is you're breaking up the fibres in the paper, and that softens it up. So, the other thing that also didn't work was matte paper. Again, like the brown paper, it just started getting these rips in it. So, I've tried experiment both with just folding it, scrunching it, sorry. But also a technique that I've seen online is where you use a lotion, which helps soften the paper. And most of these have been done with the lotion, which should, in theory, cause this not to happen. But it just, like I said, it just ended up with these little splits in it. So I don't think that's any good. One that I did find fairly successful was the pages out of the 3B magazine. I say that, then I pulled it and it did tear that way, but it's pretty successful. You can feel how soft, sit here how soft it is, see how soft it is. The only thing with this, I did find the dye was coming out. This is what was left over of the Yorkshire pudding design that I used for the bead making the other day. But the dye, I ended up with like black all over my hands. So, what papers are successful? Well, you need to experiment for yourself. So obviously the wallpaper really worked for me. This paper that I got from the flowers came out lovely, absolutely lovely. So this is that paper. You can see it just is so soft, and it really does move and feel like fabric. I did use, like I said, the moisturiser lotion, as they say, just some cheap hand lotion from Aldi. Not that you can't get cheap hand lotion from anywhere else, but that's what I used. Just an intensive care hand lotion. I put it on my hands. My hands are feeling rather soft. And I used that. Another thing that came out surprisingly well was the wrapping paper. So this is how it started, and this is what we ended up with. The only thing I will say about this, as you see, you've lost most of the shine, but there's little bits of shine still in it, almost like sparkles. The shine breaks up, and you do end up with dust all over yourself. And that's the thing. The glossy side does break up, but I do love the way this has come out. It really is nice and soft, and looks like something you'd make a pretty summer dress out of. And it has got that sparkle as well, where not all of the shine has come off. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. Just a little bit, yeah. Almost like it's got sequins on it. I do like the way this came out. The other one that surprised me, I didn't think it would work because it's so thin, was my favourite tissue paper. So that's how it starts off. And this is what we end up with. And it's like a very thin cotton or linen material. It really is pretty strong. There are bits where it did go. The first time I did it, I think I scrunched it for too long and it got a bit weak. But overall, it's pretty robust. Look. And I just think it's just a lovely feel to it. I did a couple of them, so there you go. This is one where it didn't go as weak. So yeah, I really like the way that came out. That worked brilliantly, the tissue paper. I think this worked brilliantly. I think this worked brilliantly. So the other thing that came out really well was an Amazon paper packaging. And this is how this one's come out. So you can see, really soft, really fabricy. And I've tried a little bit of using some coffee stain on it to make it more leather looking. And I think that's worked. So it's gone from that to that. It softens it down a bit more as well. I think I possibly need to do a little bit more of staining with it, but I do think that's worked quite well. And I'm not 100% sure whether I will be using this in my next project tomorrow, or whether I will be using this one, because I really do love the way this came out. This is my first ever time at doing it, and I really loved how this came out. So how do we go about doing it? So I'm just going to bring in a small piece because, lack of room. So this is the same envelope as that piece. Just another part of it, and obviously this is the back of it. So what do? It really is as simple as scrunching. Start from the corners and work your way in. Go gentle. This has got sticky on it, so I don't know how well this is going to work because it had a label on. I've tried to peel off as much as it could, and it's got a bit of sticky on it. So you're scrunching in, and you keep scrunching. So I'm not using obviously the lotion at the moment. This is just me scrunching it. So I'm going to see, because I use lotion on this one, so I'm going to see if it makes a big difference. You can see the coffee stain, how it has changed the colour of that. I do quite like that. And that was just a tiny bit of coffee in some water, and put on with a makeup sponge, but anything will do to put it on with. Right. Then you unfold it, and you go again. And what you are doing is you're breaking up the fibres in the paper. So I don't know how this is going to work with that label on the back. And you just keep unfolding it. You hear it's already starting to feel softer after a couple of folds. Now this way I'm going to just do it a little bit different this time, because you want to make sure all points get folded, and scrunch it up into a ball, and then unfold it again. And you keep going until it gets softer. And I will probably fast forward through that part for you, so you don't have to watch me do it home. But just keep scrunching. Okay, so I've been going for a little while, as you can tell, and we've gone from this to this. It's a little bit softer. It's still not quite there. You need to carry on scrunching for a little bit more. So this is quite thick paper. It does take a while. Using the hand lotion does make the process quicker. That's what I will say. But let's keep going. So this is as far as I've got so far. You can still see it's getting that fabricy feel, more of a canvasy feel. Not quite as soft as we've got with this one, which is really much softer. But the more you keep going, the longer it'll go. I'm going to just add some lotion to this. So pop a bit on my hand and see if it makes it a little bit easier, because it seems to be making a difference. So just a little bit like that on my hands, rub it in and use it. And straight away I can feel the paper getting softer quicker. So, yeah, you can see straight away within 2 scrunches. I mean, it will have eventually got there just by scrunching, but using that bit of lotion does make a difference. So, but that is how you turn paper into faux fabric. I'm going to show you with a different type of paper now quickly. Let's go for a piece of this paper. It's been a lot thinner. Just going to tear a piece off. Should have used scissors. This bit of paper. This one I'm going to put the lotion straight onto my hands. A little bit of lotion, nothing major. And we're scrunching in from the outside. In. So we're going from the corners in. So already this is softening up. You just need it. What I will say is, if you do have hand or wrist issues, you might not want to do this, because it does give you a bit of a workout on your hands and wrists. So already so much softer. Couple more turns in, and this one will probably be done. So that is the thing. It depends on what paper you're using, how much kneading you need to do. Right. It's not quite there yet. It's still very much papery. I'm probably doing this completely wrong, but because it's quite a small amount, you can just squish it in your hand like this. It's getting more fabric-like. And I'm getting a sore wrist because I've been doing this since yesterday. Like I said, it will give you a good workout in your hands. But there we go, we're almost there now. You can feel and see how much more flexible it is. You can look at tiny bit more lotion. There's certain areas that clearly didn't get the lotion, so I'm going to just rub it on, like so. Rub it between my hands like that, and now give it a couple more scratches. And there we go. I think we're pretty much there with that now. We can go on for more, and it will get even softer and softer. But as you can see, that's got much more of a fabric-like movement now. And the more you scrunch it, the more you knead it, the more fabric-like it will become. And it's pretty strong, look. So it has much more of a fabric type movement to it. It's a little bit crispy around the edges still, but apart from that, it's pretty good. And we can use this in our journals in so many ways. So it just gives a different texture. It can be used to make pockets with. It can be used to, in the case tomorrow, for a cover, because that is what we're doing tomorrow. We are doing J for journal cover. I think that's the right. Oh no, we're not. That's further on down the line. We'll be doing journal cover later. We're doing garlands tomorrow. See, I'm forgetting what letter of the alphabet. I can't remember my alphabet. So tomorrow we're doing garlands, but further down the line we'll be using some of this faux paper to make a cover for our journal. Thank you for joining me. It's quite a short one today. Goodbye, and see you tomorrow for garlands, not journal cover, garlands. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.